Hey guys, it's Mr. Wilson. I'm going to walk you through step by step what we're going to do to set up our timelines. Now remember, you guys should be working on the rough draft of your timeline, because we're going to add to it. You guys are going to add information to it, and then later you're going to go back on Monday and complete your timelines, turn that in for a summative grade. But for now, we're going to go through step by step on how you're going to set up your timeline. You are going to, with your pencil at your desk and a piece of paper, follow along with me in this video as I show you how you're going to draw your timelines. So, as you're making a timeline, the very first thing you need in your timeline is a line. Now, I have this handy dandy line tool. You're going to have to use a straight edge, right? So you're going to use a book, another piece of paper, your binder, a ruler, something is going to help you make a pretty straight line. Now remember, this is your rough draft, so it's okay if it's not perfect. Let's get our straight line going. Excellent. We also need a short little line at the ends, and that is what's going to let us know where our timeline is going to be. So about halfway through, we should have a little marker here that's going to let us know what year is about halfway through. We should have other little markers. Let's see, that's 10, 20 years. Let's put another marker here for 5 years. And that's pretty good. Right now we've got a marker for every 5 years. So to set up our timeline, we also need to mark it out with years. So I'm going to go ahead and add some text, and we'll do that first up at the title. We can start with the title. So I'm going to call my timeline Events Leading to the American Revolution. Okay. And I'm also going to call it by Mr. Wilson. Beautiful, lovely, excellent. So we've got a thing that kind of looks like the laces on a football. It's got a title up here. We need some more information. So first thing we're going to write is the first year that's on our timeline. Our timeline is going to start in 1755. The reason we picked that year is because it's a year before the French and Indian War. We're going to talk about that later, but really about 20 years or so before the Declaration of Independence is when things are starting to bubble in the pot, getting the American Revolution started. And then our last marker on the timeline is going to be 1775, and we know that's 1 year before the American Revolution starts in 1776. So we've got a beginning and an end. If this is 1755 and this is 1775, and we were going to go halfway between them, what year are we going to go to? Beautiful, excellent, wonderful. We're going to 1765. So if these are 5-year increments and we still have 2 more years left, we're going to come down here. I like to alternate top and bottom with my year markers. Doesn't really matter what you do. And mark this out at 1760, because that's halfway between 1755 and 1765. Same thing down here. Going to mark that out, not 1760, at 1770, halfway between 1765 and 1775. Now, we have a lot of extra space where we're going to put a lot of extra events in here, and we're going to go step by step to make that happen. But before we do, we have 2 events that are actually going to fit into what we've got going on so far. The very last event on our timeline is going to be the actual American Revolution. It's going to go over here. So the very last thing is going to be the American Revolution. Dope. Happens in, go ahead and put that at the beginning now that I'm thinking about it. Happened in 1776. So when we, kind of put that in, it's going to go off the end of our chart over here, right? And the same thing is going to go on over here. Before the very beginning of our chart, we're going to have the 1754, the Albany Plan that we learned about yesterday, right? So that's Ben Franklin. He's trying to get America together. He's trying to get America started, but he's ahead of the game. He's 22 years early. He starts the Albany Plan in 1754. Doesn't work out for him, but that's what he's working on. So This is going to be the rough outline that over the next several days, we continue to add lots of information to our timeline. Okay, so don't freak that this is going to be your summative and that we've only done this much so far. It's going to be all right. We're taking a couple of days with it, but this gives us a loose outline and we can start adding events into what we're working on over here. So if you have a little extra space off the left or the right, that's probably helpful, but we're going to start with that event that we know happens before the revolution, and then we know that the very last thing on our timeline is the American Revolution itself, because that happens over here.